Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad.
Well, welcome home, family. It's your mom and dad. It's your mom and dad. Oh, look, there's my cake. It's red velvet. It's red velvet. Well, it's supposed to be red velvet. Wow. It's supposed to be red velvet.
Oh shit.
It's not red velvet.
Okay, wow. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna have to clean that though, Lauren. Oh my! I didn't know. I saw the cake in here, and I was like, "What is that doing here?" I was like, "Well, my birthday was a couple weeks ago.
Not
maybe."
red velvet.
Oh
you thought it was
God!
For your birthday?
I didn't know. I was like, "A little late, babe. We're like 2 weeks out." I mean, I get the sentiment,
I'm sorry,
but
I just threw the cake everywhere. I just thought I'd give it a try.
Oh my gosh! How did that feel, by the way? Did you feel kind of liberated?
Oh my God, it felt really good.
Oh, really good?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
First of all, the cake is not red velvet. It is vanilla. And I will say digging my claw. I have claws like Lauren.
Yeah.
Digging my claws into a cake, just eating it and then chucking it actually felt really good.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
You're insane.
We're going to get hands.
Okay, anyone help? That is...
Do you want to bite?
Listen... Sure, I'll take a bite. That's pretty good.
It's not very good.
Is it not very good?
Now it's literally all over me.
I was going to say, should we take a moment and get you cleaned up? Let me try it out.
I may need a moment.
Yeah, it's not. Where did you even get this?
I think I got it at like Albertsons or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh no, I made it. You know, before
that's what it was. You were baking all night.
Before we started the podcast, I was baking. Well, yeah. Yesterday I started
remember
baking
you baking. Yeah. And I was like, what is she baking? I wonder what it is. Oh my God.
Can I clean up really quickly?
Let's take a moment. A quick. We'll be right back. We're starting off strong. We're getting into it fast and hot on our thoughts on Lauren right here, right now. We'll be right back.
Okay, I'm back. I've gotten the cake out from underneath my nails, and the sprinkles off my face.
But I think there's something so beautiful about just
ripping into it a little bit.
Not obeying the rules.
You know, I have to be real with you. That was something that was very cathartic to almost have kind of like an adult temper tantrum in front of you. I kind of loved it.
Now imagine having that same temper tantrum in front of the world.
Listen, I'm going to say this to you. Unpopular opinion.
Okay.
But the way Lauren exited, loved it. Hey, I loved it. You know what? Sure. She could have left on a note where it was very graceful and very like, listen, Joey, I so appreciate our time together. I'm really sorry that, it didn't work out. And I wish that we could have, had a longer conversation about some of these things going on in my life. Instead, she was like, bitch, I'm in leather. I'm not sitting down like this. I'm going to throw the cake. I'm going to like have a grand exit. I'm going to be like, bye, sis. I'm out of here. Maybe see at hometowns, make that a little bit awkward.
Sure.
And you know what? In my opinion, I loved it because now for the rest of my life, anytime I see red velvet, I will think of Lauren. I will never eat another piece of cake, another cupcake, anything. If I see red velvet, immediately I go to Lauren. And that's iconic. If you're going to leave episode 2, brand it, baby.
I completely agree. It's all about the leaving graciously is once you've developed a relationship.
That's the thing.
And you're like, well, my temptation is to say what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
But when you don't know someone, your only option is like leave the party with a bang.
Lauren was like, remember how on Bachelor in Paradise, they made it look like Kat got upset on her birthday and threw the cake, but you could tell that was actually kind of like a planted thrown cake.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to dig my hands into it and then chuck it.
Do you think that...
She's giving herself a paradise narrative as we speak.
Like
her and her
agree.
sister, there's already a narrative there. They're already going to be in paradise. We know this. And now she's added the cake onto her brand.
Because I feel like there's no way Allison is going to be like, now that she's forever tied to all that drama, they have to be on Paradise together, coming down 100%. Like, there's no way Allison, I mean, and I hate to say this, but like, there's no way Allison makes it far enough to, like, she's going to be on the beach with her sister.
Let's make something clear, though. The second that Lauren looked at Joey and said, maybe see ya at hometowns, she fully solidified for her sister Allison that he would not be taking her to hometowns.
Yes. Right as she walked out.
Even if Joey falls madly for Allison, that line it sealed the deal. It will forever haunt him.
She might as well have said, by the way, Allison, nuts. Anyway, bye. Like, just whatever. Like, he's like, oh my God, if I choose Allison, I have to deal with this. Never mind.
No, you think this is wild. Just waiting for Allison. No, when we saw Allison crying in the ITMs before the rose ceremony, being like, this is going to be the first time without my sister. And she was my rock in this. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just like, oh, honey, you don't know. Like, it's just not. She just ended it for you anyway. She took you down with the shit.
And I hate to say this.
We'll see at hometowns. Because can you imagine? Joey's just going to be replaying in his mind what hometowns will look like. And I'm going to tell you this. Let's just say some magical god of the universe gifts us an Allison hometowns. If there is a god,
I mean,
give us a hometowns where Lauren shows up. If she does, make no mistake, Lauren's going in for a kiss. She's trying round 2. She'll be in her element. She'll be in Philly. She'll be like, we're taking you to the bars.
She'll be bringing a boyfriend to the hometowns.
And then she'll go in for a smooch with Joey.
And then she'll try to cheat with Joey late night drunk.
Make no mistake. I think you're an icon to me, Lauren. I just want to say that.
I will say this, it's kind of hard to figure out because she was having a hard time. All this stuff was going down. And then when she left, Allison was like, my sister's my rock. And I was kind of like, wait a second. Like, the whole time you were helping Lauren, I'm kind of going like, you mean like security blanket?
Maybe
you mean like ego boost?
Maybe this is ultimately what brought the sisters together. You know, at the beginning of this journey, it was the tension was high. And now as she's leaving, Allison's like, that's my rock. And they're realizing maybe it's like, no, we love each other. Like, let's not let a man get in between us.
Yeah, maybe a rock in her mind, though, is someone that she steps onto to get to the next rung. You know what I mean? Like, she's my rock, my stepping stool to my happiness, because I'm going, it was all just like a little chaos, and then you going like, stop spiraling, and then she spirals off the show.
I mean, but regardless, in my opinion, to me, Lauren is an icon. I think she's going to be an icon on the beach. I think we're going to continue to see her in this franchise if she so chooses. And, I very much wish her well. We'll get into more of some of the Lauren, but I enjoyed it.
It was definitely memorable. Much more memorable. I can't remember any of the other exits. It was just like, thank you, appreciate it, you're nice.
Think about everyone else who leaves week 2.
They just say,
can you remember them?
Never remember.
No, but you know what? You'll always remember Lauren.
And even when they come on the beach, they're like, who are you? You're like, oh, Joey's season, 2nd episode left. And they're like, oh. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of that too that happens.
And they'll know her when she comes down onto the sand.
Absolutely remember her and be like, all right, we'll see what happens.
Saying. If you're going to do it, if you're going to potentially take off work for 2.5 months, potentially lose your job, potentially have to drop $20,000 on getting dresses that you're not going to wear, I say go out with a bang.
Any kind of bang. Good, bad, whatever.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Well, clearly today we are discussing Joey's episode 2, Bachelor Joey's episode 2. And we have to take a quick pause. After this quick pause, before we dive in, I do want to talk about our episode last week. And then I say we just dive on in.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot to cover. This episode was what I would like to call a boiling pot.
Oh.
This episode, we saw so many people right on the brink.
Yeah.
Where it's about to absolutely combust, which is pretty wild.
For week 2. Basically week 1. Because week one's, because week 1's just like everyone showing up.
Yeah, everyone just is meeting each other.
It's basically the first time when you're just like in a room together.
No, straight up. I can't recall this much boiling point pressure week 2 already. Like, the next 2 weeks. And again, just like historically, episodes 3 and 4 can be a little sleepy.
Yeah.
I think we're getting
wild
episodes 3 and 4. There were so many people already crying. There were so many people so invested. Like, Joey is their king, and I think we're going to see big emotions because of it.
Agree.
Everyone's fallen in love.
Yeah.
Okay. Before we keep diving in, we got to take a quick pause. Family, I have to tell you all, you know this, I hope about me that I love fashion. Tell me you
Oh
can
my
tell that I love
gosh.
fashion. I'm just
The
insecure.
fashion god.
I'm just insecure starting it. Please tell me that you know that
Tell
I love
me
fashion.
fashion's
please.
good.
No, but like, seriously, I love fashion so much because I feel like it's a way to like share a story about yourself, essentially. Like when I look back, my clothes are kind of a storybook of life chapters. So picture this. Picture having the ideal wardrobe to match your 2024 era, your 2024 you. Whether you are picking up a new activity this year, looking for maternity wear, or simply ready for a new vibe, the stylist at Stitch Fix can curate the perfect look for your unique journey. Stitch Fix is the best way to shop new styles and brands. Think of them as your style partner. Your stylist will learn about your tastes and collaborate with you on looks you'll love without breaking the bank. It really is so cool, and they handle it for you so beautifully. You simply share your preferences, sizes, and budget, and Stitch Fix sends you 5 items in a fix right to your door.
Exactly. Seriously.
So cool.
What's so nice too is that you get to try everything on at home, and then you get to keep what you like and send back the rest. Shipping and returns are always free. They have over 1,000 brands and styles, so no matter what season of life you're in, Stitch Fix has you covered. Simply order a refresh as needed and set it and forget it with regular fixes. You're in control.
I have used Stitch Fix before and have had such great experiences. My Stitch Fix stylists have sent me some of my favorites, specifically some jeans. Some of the jeans that I've gotten from the Stitch Fix stylists have been my favorites. They're my go-tos. They're my everydays. Also, some of my favorite all-time sweaters from Stitch Fix. What is so cool is that over time, Stitch Fix and their seasoned style experts will match you with greater precision to perfect pieces for you based on your likes and dislikes. Remember what Evan said, it's so easy. Try everything on at home, which I love. Keep what you like and send back the rest. Shipping and returns are always free. Thanks to Stitch Fix, they just get me, and they'll get you too. Try today at stitchfix.com/momdad, and you'll get 25% off when you keep everything in your fix. That's stitchfix.com/momdad, stitchfix.com/momdad. Okay, before we dive into the Joey of it all, though,
Yes.
I do want to pause and say that if you all have not checked out our most recent episode, aside from this one, it is called We Play Dungeons and Dragons.
Seriously.
Please check it out. Please.
One of the best times we've ever had podcasting ever. And it just, as the episode goes, it gets better and better and better.
I left that episode on a high. Like, I was on a high after we recorded that, and I was on a high for days. And now all I see are Dungeons and Dragon dice everywhere. Like, I want to base all my decisions off of this. When I was watching The Bachelor, I was thinking, I wish that I could watch this almost in like a virtual reality setting and make the choices for the women or Joey by rolling dice and be like, I would like to try throwing a cake across the mansion. If I roll a 15, I will be able to do so.
Everything turned into the game for you.
Turned into D&D
How everything
for
turned
me.
into Zelda for me.
Now it's all D&D. I just see the world in D&D, and I've only played the game one time. That's how deep I'm. And yes, if you have not watched or listened to that episode yet, this sounds very random. Please tune in, because I will say this. We're like, if you all like this, we'll make this a regular thing. And those who hopped on board and watched it said, please do this again.
Yeah, it's like, give it a chance. I think that's the thing, is like, give it a chance.
Give it a chance, because I got so many messages from people who are like, I've never played D&D before, and this was my favorite episode you guys have ever done. And I want to know, so that I know that we have enough people from the family who are like, hey, do another one, because I want to continue our journey.
If you tune into us just to listen to recaps, just to get caught up on the show, I completely understand. We are grateful for your presence. So
grateful for everyone.
But we ask that you just jump into that episode and maybe just find it within yourself to be open-minded, because I was someone who, previous to that episode, was not open-minded to those type of things. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give into this. I'm going to have fun. I had an absolute blast. It was hilarious. We all fell in love with the process. I will say, like, everyone should get into D&D, man, because it's so fun, and it brings your childlike wonder back. It
sparked so much joy in my heart and mind and soul, and it like put me in a good mood for days afterwards.
Yes.
I mean, you saw me. I was like,
buzzing.
The sun is brighter. I can hear the birds chirping. My crows are flying overhead. It really was hitting it for me.
So anyway,
That's all I'm
we had a
saying.
blast with it. So please check it out. Let us know if you loved it. Because
Yes.
I honestly do feel like everyone who gave it a chance said they were like, we had a blast with you guys.
And they loved it. I'm like, and if we get enough members of the family into D&D, I'm like, what, maybe one day we have a giant D&D convention moment?
I mean, I would
we all
love to have
gather together.
other people on playing with us. Like,
come on now. I love the concept.
rally around, family.
Please.
Let's go. Let's blow this thing up.
And we thank you, Brian, our friend Brian, who was our dungeon master.
Killed it.
And also Lee, who couldn't be here today. We love you, Lee. We miss you. We'll see you next time.
Yes.
But Lee was just having him participate was
Yes.
everything.
And he, by the way, he loves being off camera. He prefers it. Okay. So anyone who says like, put Lee on camera, it's like, it's not our choice. Okay. He is the ghost in the room. He prefers it that way. He likes
He's
to
a
be the
little
voice.
camera shy.
He's camera shy. He likes the voice coming in from the angle. So
I think it adds to the mystique that
and
is
I love
Lee.
that there's a mystery in the room.
Uncle Lee is so mysterious and
He's our
wonderful.
ghost.
We absolutely love him.
We love him.
We miss you, Lee. Love you, Lee. Okay, but just had to say that before we officially
Yes.
dive in and pitch that to the family.
Yes.
That's my pitch for today. Now I'm done. That's my selling point. That's my MLM. Join us. I'm done. I'll leave you beat now. Okay.
Exactly. Sign up 5, but we would appreciate if you did watch and then got 5 of your friends also to watch that episode. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's not an MLM, but I'm saying it's a D&D
And then
MLM.
if you also want to click the link for our sponsors, and so you don't have to buy it, but just show that you click the link. Just support
Exactly. Support us. D&D MLM. Okay.
Okay, should
Let's
we
get
get
into
into
this.
this?
Yes.
Let's get into this episode. Okay, first and foremost, I just want to say this. We start the episode off, of course, the Lauren moment, but then after this, we see Jesse and Joey playing tennis.
Yeah.
It is confirmed to us. Last episode, I said Joey called Jesse Jess, and this either means that they're going to have some sort of vicious competition between each other that Joey's unaware of, but that Jesse feels, or that they're best friends forever. Clearly,
Yeah.
Jesse Palmer found his best friend. Jess Palmer found his best friend, and now he's going to officially change his name to Jess Palmer.
I feel like Jesse to Jess is like a strange shortening of the name because it's already short. You know what I'm saying? Like Jessica, it's 3.
But I started
shortening-
Jessica, and my parents would call me Jessie, and I went to Jess. So how dare you talk about how
Okay.
I've moved through my name?
But when your name starts as Jesse, moving down to Jess.
Maybe his initial name was also Jessica, or
Yeah, that's true.
Jessifer.
I'm sure it's Jessica Palmer, but I'm just saying,
Jessifer, Jess and Benjamin.
Part of me just feel like it was a mistake. There's no way he's just like, by the way, I'm calling you Jess now.
It wasn't a mistake. They're best friends. Joey called him Jess on purpose. Did you see when Jesse Palmer mid swing was like, "Man, Joey, if I had a coach like you growing up,
I could have made it to the tour."
I mean, like, he loves him. And then when they had the wedding date later, he's like, he didn't call himself the MC of the wedding. He said, "I'm Joey's best man."
So, and I do think that,
And I think he made that up on the spot. That he was
agree.
like, I'm
He's like,
Joey's
right, buddy.
best
Also, kind of seriously though, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that finally there's a contestant that can offer something to Jess.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
are we calling him Jess
I'm
now?
calling him Jess now, just for this podcast at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like, he could teach me a skill. We
That's
can
true.
play tennis.
Zach tried
Everyone
to
else
sell him
is
on
like,
things.
yeah, you stop trying to sell me on real estate deals or whatever he does. So I think that this is like the first time he's like, finally someone that can kind of like teach me something, or we can play a little tennis together while on a break. Think about that.
That's
When they have
true.
a filming break and they're chilling, they can go play tennis together.
I could be mistaken, but I feel like I heard Joey also say that he started off, or at some point was a golf pro as well. So he's a golf pro and a tennis pro.
What?
So he can do
Is
it
a
all.
golf pro?
Or he started doing that at one of the hotels he worked at. Was
Exactly.
like a golf
If I
pro.
was Jess, and we were like filming, and then
Yeah.
it was like, me and the lead could go like play golf for 4 hours and have a good time. I mean, like, what an amazing thing to have. So I'm sure you could tell Jess plays a little tennis. Like, he kind of knew what he was doing.
I mean, he looked phenomenal
That's
on
what
the
I'm
court.
saying. So there's probably like, sweet, we could play together, have a little fun.
True.
So I mean, I don't. This is the first time where we're seeing the script flipped.
Yeah.
Generally, it's like, I love Jesse. Can we be friends, Jesse vibe? Now it's Jesse being like, can we be friends? Maybe he's going, I don't know if even he likes me, but is it just like a, security thing?
Yeah.
So, I hope to see a little bit more insecurity in Jess.
Yeah, we love to see that. Also, again, he called himself his best man. Now we wonder, if Joey does find his person and they do another Bachelor style wedding, is Joey going to assume that Jesse Palmer will officiate the wedding, and then Jesse Palmer assumes that, no, I'm your best man.
Right.
We're going to have someone else officiate the wedding. Maybe we'll have Susan come back in. But like, Joey, I'm your best man. And Joey's like, well, what about like my best friend back at home that I've had for 25 years? Excuse me.
Yeah, I agree. Because the officiating of the wedding is like, you're in the wedding light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I'm
It's
so
an
honored.
important
But then you're
role.
also kind of going, wait a second, is this like, how close am I to you?
Yeah,
There is that kind of thing.
It's an important role, but it also...
It's not quite
It's
best
not like
man
my
in the
best...
wedding.
Yeah, we're not doing the bachelor party together.
You're not in the wedding, so you're not a part of all the festivities before. You just show up, do the. So that's an interesting. It kind of messes with your head. Jess's head could be messed with if he's officiating.
That's what I'm saying. Just things to think about,
To go from best man to officiating, now you're who am I?
Yeah. Also, is Jesse Palmer going to become more involved in the process of choosing who Joey falls for now that he's like, this is my best friend and I really care about him? Like, is he going to stick his foot in a little bit? It's just things to think about. Is he going to want to encourage Joey to find a wife so that him and his wife can have double dates with Joey? It's just things to think about.
There's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
There's
Things
a lot
to think
there.
about. But okay, we find out that we're going to have 2 group dates and 1 one-on-one date. And our first group date is, but of course, the wedding dress date. And I have a tip for any individual who's planning on auditioning for The Bachelor. When you pack a wedding dress.
Oh, interesting.
That's my tip.
A thought.
They do this date every single season of The Bachelor.
Interesting.
Every
move.
season. You are going to be just attacked with anxiety when they say, blah, 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 find your dress. And everyone is just dogpiling on each other. If you bring a dress that you like, maybe borrow it from a rental service, or a friend of yours might loan them or loan you their wedding dress or something. You can even get, a dress from Windsor or something like that.
Yeah.
Bring it with you. So that you know
Get
you
it
can
fitted exactly because you feel great in it.
because you're gonna feel good in it. Because when I was watching this, I'm like, it makes me immediate. I looked at you, I go, I feel anxious immediately because I just don't want to feel uncomfortable in my dress. And I don't want to fight someone for a dress. You know what I mean? I want everybody to look beautiful. We can all be gorge, but I just want to find a dress that I feel comfortable in, that I can zip up and whatnot.
I agree. I think that's a really smart move. I never thought about that.
Bring your own dress.
Your own.
And it kind of is a little bit of a, you could make it a very essential wedding dress, right? You could pull a Maria and come out in some sort of like white lingerie-y wedding type dress. But oh my God, that moment, speaking of anxiety, the moment that whole wedding dress, wardrobe rack collapsed on Rachel.
Yeah.
That was not a small fall, okay? I don't feel like I saw people, but that was a serious, it collapsed. I would sue. Rachel, I would sue.
Well, the way they edited it too, it looked like she was knocked out. Like the way she laid there for just a minute, she was probably laying there comedically for a minute because then she popped up and was laughing. But the way they cut it, like they had the footage behind her and she was just like, it just looked like everyone was like,
my
one
God.
down, grab her dress. You know what I mean? Like one more for us. One more option.
That's what it felt like. I was just like, my God, Rachel, I'd sue.
She even said, she's like, no one even cared. They just like, back to it.
Just kept running over her. Okay. Well, everyone, honestly, it felt like everyone seemed pretty happy with their dress. The one person who did comment about, I look like a 50-year-old mom who's going to get drunk and hit on everyone was Maria.
Yeah.
I have to say, to Maria's credit, there was no, oh my God, spiral. I didn't get the dress I want. I'm assuming it wasn't the dress she wanted by the way she spoke about it.
Yeah, because she said like,
She's
I look like
a
this and
mom.
whatever, but it's okay because it's all about the experience. And like she was being very positive about the fact she didn't like the dress. Mm-hmm. Most people, no offense to this person, but if it was Taylor, would have spiraled.
Taylor probably would have spiraled.
Right.
Hey, you know what? I'll take it. I would have spiraled.
Right.
If I don't get the dress, if I
Now you're in
hated the
your
wedding
head.
dress, I'm in my head. My day's ruined.
But
I'm like, Joey will never love me if I look gorgeous.
hideous dress. But I will say she is really good at putting positive spins on things.
You know what? I have a lot of thoughts about Maria
Yes.
we can get into.
We will.
And I don't know. I feel like I don't know what the general consensus is about people's thoughts on Maria. And I'm going to tell you, everybody, I love her. I love Maria.
I do too.
And I felt like we talked about first episode, and I don't think this was like some genius, prediction, but we were saying she's probably going to have a villainous role on the show because she's got a big charismatic personality, make some big choices. And I think we're seeing that. And I also was saying, I think that it's going to be a potentially a villainous character, but that a villain that, maybe split a lot of people love, a lot of people don't like.
Yeah.
So far, I love Maria.
I have a lot of thoughts.
I'm a big fan.
Yes, I agree.
Just going to say that right off the top.
I agree.
She's giving me everything I want. So, okay. We have, again, the typical wedding ceremony style episode, except this time they've thrown a twist on it. We're not taking photos. We're not doing anything like that. Franco, God bless, is not here. We miss you, Franco.
Do we?
Literally.
The photos are so bad,
Okay,
babe.
just
it's not
the
even
last.
real.
No, just the last.
It's not even real.
No, just.
I think they probably heard our podcast and they're like, to be honest with you, it was bad, but this is all the
First of all, they're
affirmation
absolutely
we
not
needed.
listening.
Franco, I love you as a person. I just gotta be honest with you. If I saw those pictures of my wedding, I'd be devastated.
Hey, you know what? When you do research and you find Franco's pictures, they're stunning. Those were not Franco's
those were the
pictures, okay?
interns'
Those were
iPhone
interns. They
pictures.
couldn't
Got it.
afford Franco's
Okay,
pictures,
got it,
okay?
got it.
No, these theories, no, we're not going to stand by this. But they did something different this episode, okay? They said, we're all getting married, which... Thank God we're actually going to be finally honest about, the non-monogamy of this show.
Yeah.
Thank God we're finally being honest about the fact that like this is what we're doing here and we love to see it. But let's have a full-blown wedding where they approach it in the sense of Joey and his 9 brides that he's married.
Maybe Joey was just like, let's not rule this option out. Like, what if I fall in love with everyone? Can they all get along? Are you guys interested in this? Let's do a soft wedding.
100%.
Like sure, I'm going to pick one of you, sure. But let's just try this out.
Joey was trying to massage the
He was
thought.
just, can we work this out where we all get along? What if you guys all fall in love? What if you guys all become best friends and
There's the
all share this
option.
love of me? Who's to say we can't work this out? So he floated this idea to the producers, and they're like, "Okay, let's give it a shot." So it's just they're trying new things.
Yeah, I see that.
I liked it though because it created it kind of fast forwarded. It did push the emotion of it, I think.
I think it also made it a little more, yes, the emotions were there, but I feel like for us as the audience, it made it a little more playful too, because it was like, we're all acknowledging what this is.
Right.
We're not making it some like fairy tale moment right now. It's a competition.
Yes.
Okay. There are 9 brides here, and we're going to start it off with musical chairs, which brings back so much stress thinking about all of our youth.
So stressful.
Every person who's ever been young, which is, I'm pretty sure everybody.
Most people. Anyone who has ever been young.
I feel like we can go back, and when you think about stress, musical chairs
It is stressful.
Hey, stop it. You know what I mean?
It's just called stress. It's not
like-
called musical chairs. It's called stress game.
Make kids stop doing it.
Yeah.
It just brought a lot of shame. It's pure stress. Every time we would start doing it, I'd be like, oh, because my athleticism is not
It's
prime.
highly physical.
I would just be like, I have to poop. You know, the
Right.
feeling where you're like, oh, I got to poop because I'm so nervous.
Yeah,
My nervous
yeah.
shits. I'd be like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom right now.
Yeah.
And then I'd be nervous that I was going to maybe poop my pants a little bit while we
See,
were
I was
running.
more of a pee nerves, not a poop nerve.
Oh, really?
Poop nerves is unfortunate. So when you were hiding to go seek, it was poop? It wasn't pee?
Always poop.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Always
more
pee for
kind of
me.
a combination of both.
Sure.
A gorgeous mixture.
Okay, got it.
But they went straight into it.
Yeah.
And that is when we saw one of the most memeable iconic moments of this show. I mean, just bravo to these women. We got the Lauren with the cake, and then we had Evalin, who sacrificed her body for all of us as she threw herself across the table in a display that I've never seen quite before. It was stunning. She slid, everything crashed. Joey was picking up like pieces of pottery.
Yeah.
And she didn't get the chair.
She didn't even get the chair. So imagine putting it all on the line and being the only one who didn't get a chair. Like, I think that was wild. Now, it's memorable. Now, the only thing I could think of was that she was unaware of her athletic ability almost in that moment.
Oh, like she didn't know her power.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, my thought is like maybe a slide across.
Maybe that's what the intention was.
And I think what happened was she wasn't ready for the power. And so she just sprung herself. The adrenaline shot her twice as far as she was ready. And instead of kind of a little like, hop, it was like sliding into home plate with like your whole team on the line and just bash, bang, boom. You know what I mean? Maybe got like a broken, rib or something. It was serious.
And by the way, I'm an icon. When she popped back up, she was like, "Oh, I didn't get it." If that would have happened to me, I pop up, you see my mascara running already, and I'm like, I've broken many bones. And she then posted I showed it to you. It was making me laugh so hard. On her social media, she posted like a reel, and it said cursed chair.
Oh, right.
And it was her just with her friend, and she keeps sliding into spots just like dramatically and missing them every time. Called it cursed chair. Evalin just created lore.
There you go.
Like, she created her own lore. The women are out here working this season. They are working this season. They are taking risks.
Because
I love it.
And when you watch the replay too, it wasn't like she tried to get to the other 5 wide open chairs. She just immediately went to dive, which is a wild move. Because like if you looked at it, there was like 3 chairs at the end where she just could have turned around and gotten a chair.
No, she wanted that chair.
But instead it was immediate dive.
Because she's like, I'm sitting next to Joey. Yes. There was no ifs, ands, or buts.
Exactly.
Absolute massive respect. Okay, let's take a quick pause before we keep talking about this wedding date, this 9 bride to 1 groom wedding date. Family, this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. You know, when we started the year out, it's the typical new year, new you thing. But I think as we move more into the year, a good reminder is maybe instead of being obsessed with how to change ourselves, instead just focus on expanding what we're already doing right. Maybe you finally organized one part of your space and you want to tackle another. I'm working on that as we speak. Or maybe you're getting up a bit earlier in the morning to meditate for 5 minutes, and now you want to make it a 10-minute meditation. Therapy helps you find strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try.
Yes, you all know how we feel about therapy. Mm-hmm. We love it. It's been essential. It's been a game changer for me personally over the years. Both of us have benefited from it. It's helped us as partners, as parents, as friends. It's personally helped me with my boundaries and also massively my self-love. Mm-hmm. We suggest it for everyone we love. BetterHelp is entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapist anytime for no additional charge.
BetterHelp makes it as convenient and flexible as possible, making sure you're able to make time for taking care of you. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit betterhelp.com/momdad today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/momdad. BetterHelp.com/momdad. Okay, back to this wedding. So then the next bit, they were supposed to prove to Joey, here's the bottom line. Jesse Palmer had said, whoever, quote unquote, wins this gets the first dance with Joey.
Yes.
And the special guest is coming. So the next bit they have where they're talking to the wedding guest. This is a moment where we find out from Maria that she is the heiress, I suppose, of a sprinkle company.
Because we called it, we said she's the Duchess of something. She's the Duchess of Sprinkles.
She's the sprinkle princess.
She really is.
She's a sprinkle princess. And think about this. She said, my dad, that the family biz is sprinkles. Business. Can you ever really be sad if your business is in sprinkles?
Your dad's Willy Wonka.
Something like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love it.
Dad is Wonka.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, think about that.
Or, oh shit,
What?
her dad's the little boy who took over.
Charlie?
Charlie.
Maybe.
It's her dad.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Her dad's Charlie.
Oh my gosh, that's going to make me feel a little emotional.
Yeah, her dad's Charlie, and he took over the Wonka factory.
I really like that.
And his grandparents slept in the same bed, feet touching.
100%.
So I think we may even meet those grandparents.
I really, really hope so.
That's the only solution I could come to.
That's it.
Because who runs it? Who has a sprinkle dynasty?
Think about
you know what I mean? Like that's not a real
magical
thing.
that is. You hear sometimes these people that are like, "Oh yeah, my grandfather created the bread clip," and you're like, "Wow,
what?
that's massive." Yeah. But like the whimsy and fantasy of a sprinkle. Maria, to me,
how do they make them so small? You know what I mean? I think they just fall from the sky.
Oh my God! First of all, it's insane. Second, look at this.
Look at it. This probably came from him.
Look at this cake that I clawed into, and it's covered in sprinkles. Is this the work of Maria's family? Like, look at how magical
I
that
think
is.
Charlie made these. Yeah.
God damn, absolutely stunning. Listen, Maria. No surprise, she crushed this portion. She's comfortable. She lets Joey know, hey, by the way, you want to get into Big Sprinkle? That's my family. So you could be part of Big Sprinkle if you're going to join this family. She just slipped that in, which we love. But, numerous of the women were interacting with Joey. One person that we saw do an absolutely incredible job was Rachel. Rachel initiated the speech.
Yeah, and it was like weirdly good. Like, when you see someone and you're like, are you a public speaker? Are you on the news or something? Like she was so smooth and confident. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a hint of nerves. And I was like, wait, do you do this for a living? Like it was weirdly good.
She was like, I'm Mrs. G. Doesn't he look stunning? Like she kind of, and then he's
hi,
like,
everyone,
thanks
for coming today. Like it was just
so
very
good.
calm. And I was like, whoa. And then their chemistry was kind of like out of nowhere. The best chemistry we've seen, like
when
all of a sudden.
When they were dancing, because, spoiler, Joey ends up choosing her as his first dance partner. They were making out in front of everybody too. And they were locking lips.
You know how people can kind of create chemistry? I feel like if I'm just being super honest, we've kind of talked about this last week. There's no way to know what Joey's thinking because he just kind of has the same response to everybody.
Yeah.
So it's more about the woman to know how things are going almost. Sure. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like Maria is someone that like you can kind of see from a mile away going, she can create chemistry.
Yeah.
She's very charismatic, whatever. Rachel was kind of like the best chemistry. And we hadn't seen like that level of like bam, boom, boom, boom. But she came out of nowhere and immediately created like they were married for 5 years chemistry. Mm-hmm. Not even like we're dating and we're fine falling in love chemistry. Like we're in love. We're on our wedding date chemistry. Also, I was kind of like blown away. Also,
something of note is this: they are making out a lot in front of the other women. We didn't see any of the women upset at Rachel, and yet Jess and Joey had a quick peck.
Right.
And everyone's annoyed with Jess. I think that shows something about who Rachel is.
Rachel has no enemies.
Rachel has no enemies. Clearly the women really like Rachel, or else Rachel, it would immediately have been like, oh damn, look at her. And there would have been that energy towards her, that negative energy. So I think that's something to note as well.
Yeah, because you saw multiple women like look away. Like they were like, oh my gosh, the chemistry was actually kind of hot. Like it was kind of a lot. It was more just a commentary on how good it was versus like, I hate her.
Yeah, they averted their eyes out of respect. It wasn't so much of like, I can't stand Rachel. Yeah. It was more an honor.
Exactly.
But they get a surprise guest to sing.
Yeah. This is a tale of Captain Jack Sparrow of the island of Tortuga. I mean, it was kind of crazy. I was like, dude, they're coming out with some money this time. Like across the board, everything's been money.
Michael
Bolton. Now
the man who has the man.
How much does it cost him to book a song?
It sounds like he has 1,000 voices. I mean, the thunderous voice. His voice was stunning. This man is still God. I love Michael Bolton.
Dude, he's so epic. And I was kind of pissed they didn't show more of him. and do like a little one-on-one where they're like, he's like, thanks for coming here. I hope you guys wish you the best. Just even a little. They just kind of used him as background, like any of the other random.
I know, it felt a little disrespectful to Michael Bolton.
Like they played him low.
Maybe part of his contract was like, I'm only going to give you this much, and you're going to pay me
$10,000
this.
a word if he talks. So they're like, forget it. We'll just have him sing in the back.
I mean, I would hope so because it feels disrespectful to him otherwise.
But his voice sounded incredible.
That's
an iconic get.
It's really incredible.
It's an iconic get.
I was like actually very jealous because who are these random people at the reception, by the way?
These are just...
I want to be one of the people at this reception who gets to watch all of the Bachelor business and then see Michael Bolton come out.
Pretty dope.
And rip when a man loves a woman.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
There's a tale of Captain Jack Sparrow.
It's an SNL sketch.
Yeah, if you don't know that, you
way.
gotta look it up. It was like the Lonely Island huge thing where he was saying that song. So anyway, huge fan. That was amazing. That was big money. And I will say, when you spend money on a show, it's shocking how good it feels. You know what I mean? Like, that was a moment.
I know. I did.
They're not like new artist Johnny Green, and you're like, okay, Johnny Greenland or something, and then you're like, here he comes, and you're like, okay, like random.
I will say though, I saw producer Rob Mills, post a tweet, and it was like a photo of I think it was kind of like a broken down carnival, and it was like the rest of the Bachelor season budget after spending every dollar on Michael Bolton, and Rob Mills was like, they're not wrong.
Oh,
So
exactly.
I think maybe it's gonna go downhill.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. They're like, okay, we went with the Billie Eilish intro, and we're done.
That's what it feels like a little bit. Okay, so in the midst of all this happening, though, we have Lauren.
Yeah.
Now, Lauren, in the limo, we end up finding out because Maria is doing a vlog. Someone's handing these women vlog cameras, which blessings. But she has a vlog and she says, I'm really missing my dad. And Lauren's like, tell me about it. And we find out that Lauren and Allison's dad passed away, 7 months ago, somewhat recently. And all of a sudden it hits her. I'm in a wedding dress and I hadn't really processed this until I hear Maria bring up dad. And now I'm like, oh my God. And my God, that would be so intense.
Radical.
And I really felt for her too, to not have her sister on this. They split them up, and I'm sure she was probably happy at first, like, oh, thank God I get to have a moment and I get to have my alone time with Joey. But now I'm separated. I'm alone. I'm not with my sister to have like my support, and I don't want to participate in this because I'm not feeling great.
Yeah.
And throughout this, I have to say, number one, Maria, again, we've seen Maria in numerous circumstances already have the kind of this like positive energy. And I felt like Maria was very much there for Lauren during this process. You have to remember, every time someone does leave the lead, that's time away from the lead. So Maria wasn't just like, I'm only going to spend my time with Joey. She stepped away and was, checking in on Lauren, which I'm sure meant a lot to Lauren. And then on top of it too, shout out to all the other women, because later on in the evening, so we get to then the kind of the nighttime portion of this group date, and Lauren never spoke with Joey during the wedding portion. And she's like, hey, I really want to share with Joey why and what's been going on with me and about my dad. The women were so supportive.
Really supportive.
When she kept saying like, well, I don't want to make it a downer and make it negative. And they're like, it's not. This is your story.
Yeah.
And don't put that. And they were like giving her some words of wisdom and support. And I was very impressed.
Yeah, I think I'm glad that they kind of knew that some things transcended the game. You know what I mean? Some things transcended the competition of it all,
100%.
where it's like, we're not talking about ex-relationship stuff. We're not talking about your job, your friends. We're talking about something that's bigger and something that's intense. And so I liked that they kind of rallied around her and were really sweet. And Maria was super there for her the whole time, like spending so much time. Like, whatever you need, we're here for you. I thought that was really sweet.
I think we saw a lot of who Maria was.
Yeah.
Something to remember as we continue to dive into this episode. That seems like it is who Maria is. That's the energy we got from Maria to me in episode 1, 2, when Jess came back and was like, I got the smoochie. And Maria was like, don't worry, ladies. We're going to have our time. And was, something to think about. But then also, too, like I said, we saw the other women really stand by Lauren, too. And I don't know. I thought that was a lovely Like you said, it surpassed the game that is this show. And it was like, okay, let's have this real moment for her. She did end up talking to Joey, and Joey
handled it great. So it was super great as
Joey's,
always. He's very comfortable in those, because a lot of people are not comfortable in like heavy talks with someone they barely know. I mean, sometimes it's like, oh, crazy, I'll talk to you later. But he's so present and available.
And not to put men in a box, but like a lot of times guys aren't the best at knowing how to respond
100%.
when someone is having big emotions or having grief or things. Like a lot of times, guys can kind of tighten up.
Big time.
Joey is so not that way. In every single circumstance in this season so far, and also on Charity season, he listens. He is so intent. He asks questions. He supports. He's there. And he did that with Lauren too, and he did that with everyone in this entire episode when everyone was kind of coming to him. I did notice that he, when she was crying, the tears were rolling down her cheek, he immediately wiped the tear from her eyes. I noticed he did this every time someone was crying in this episode. He wipes their tears.
He does the
thumb. He wipes the tears.
He does the thumb.
Which I was seeing people posting about being like, oh my gosh, it's so sweet and romantic that he wipes the tears. And don't get me wrong, I also think it is very sweet and romantic. But I also want to say this.
Smear the makeup?
I
wasn't sure. That's what I thought about. I was like, you got to be probably careful. Yeah, women know how to kind of like, that's why they're always doing this.
Yeah, we blot.
They don't just go bam, So I'm always, when he was doing that, I was like, okay, is that?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes. No. I hear you. No, what I was thinking was our theory. How you always talk about how, when I say always, I mean one time.
Yeah, every
how
day.
On our first episode, you talked about how Joey, everyone talks about how he doesn't blink.
Yeah.
And you're like, he must be so moist. That's the only reason that he doesn't blink. And at one point I told you I saw a tear roll down his eyes when he was not even crying because his eyes are so moist.
Sure.
And as someone who is very dry-eyed, chronically dry-eyed, I'm very chronically dry-eyed, very jealous of the moisture that is in Joey's eyes. Now watching him wipe away anytime he sees a tear, I'm like, is this why he is so full of moisture? Is he just like kidnapping these tears?
Whoa.
He just sucks the tears out of people.
Wow, what a reach. I was not ready for you to say that. What in God's name are you talking about? I think...
I'm just saying, it's like, the man is practically like, he's filling himself up with more moisture. You're like, is he a wonderful guy or is he selfish with all this moisture?
Interesting. He takes your tears as his own?
Yeah, that's why he never has to blink. So
he likes emotional people because they cry a lot and he could take their tears.
Yeah, and he's just now full of water.
Interesting. Maybe. Well,
the real Aquaman.
The real Aquaman. Absolutely. Water eyes. I mean, who knows? Maybe he keeps all his emotion inside so it builds up over time. And so he has like reserves. You know what I mean? The water doesn't come out enough. So it stays in. You know what I mean?
But what does that have to do with the tears?
I don't know. I'm trying to find that.
Okay.
But
I thought I really served you. I thought I served you absolute gold. I thought I just delivered you. I was like, oh my God, look at this. He's essentially like capturing tears in little bottles, but he takes them through his fingertips, and that's how he becomes so moist. You were talking about how moist Joey was a mere 2 episodes ago.
That's true.
And now I'm just saying, like, are you noticing he's sucking up other people's
sucking
tears?
Up the tears?
To keep his eyes
so is
moist?
Is he actually not being very gracious then? He's being selfish.
I'm just saying we were looking for red flags with Joey and we're not finding any.
Tough.
So I'm like, maybe he's actually sucking people's tears up selfishly because
it's
he's
like
kidnapping.
the least offensive thief ever. It's like
he just wants moist eyes.
Yeah. He's just like, I steal people's discarded tears. Everybody's like, okay, it's like kind of bad.
I'm just saying, I don't think I've ever seen people cry so quickly around a lead. So obviously
there is something about
some sort
him.
of magical flute that he's playing to get people to start crying, and then he's sucking up their tears. I don't know. I'm just saying, note this, family. If all of a sudden you see Jesse Palmer cry in front of Joey, we've got a problem. Okay.
He's kind of he is kind of a weird like he creates emotion in people.
Yeah. It's just
that is really interesting.
Anywho, let's take one more quick pause.
Okay.
family. Let me tell you of a recent tale that's not of Joey stealing tears. It is of Aunt Katie, Instagram free Aunt Katie and myself. So we both signed up for a subscription service at the same time. I won't mention which one it was because we both didn't like it and wanted to cancel immediately. So she ends up messaging me and saying like, oh my gosh, wasn't it such a nightmare to have to cancel this? It took me forever trying to cancel the subscription. It was hellish, blah, 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 blah. I was on the phone for forever and I had to tell her, Aunt Katie, I don't know how you feel because I have Rocket Money and Rocket Money actually handled it all for me. And all I know is that it got canceled. Okay. Needless to say, Aunt Katie now uses Rocket Money. They are the best. We swear by Rocket Money. We've been using Rocket Money for years now. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills. They are one of our favorites, truly.
Oh my gosh. It's so nice to have them because it's just they save me all the time when I'm like, what is all this
all
crap
the time.
I still have? Mm-hmm. We love Rocket Money.
Love it.
I can see all my subscriptions in one place. And if I see something I don't want, I can cancel it with a tap. I never have to get on the phone with customer service, blah, blah, blah. So bothersome. They'll even try to get you a refund for the last couple months of wasted money and negotiate to lower your bills for you by up to 20%. All you have to do is take a picture of your bill and Rocket Money takes care of the rest.
I mean, for real, how incredible is that? That's
easy.
unbelievable.
So easy.
I also love that they alert you when there's a big charge on your card just in case. I mean, they're the best. They're doing it all for us. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year with over 500 million in canceled subscriptions. 500 million. I mean, they personally saved me over $1,000 last year. So we thank you for that, Rocket Money. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/momdad. That's rocketmoney.com/momdad. rocketmoney.com/momdad. Okay, back to the evening portion of this first group date. So of course we had the Lauren and then we had the Maria of it all. And Maria was wearing, God, such a cute outfit. It was just, I was obsessed. I wanted it. It was this like corset type lacy top.
Yeah.
Yes. And this white kind of Tennessee looking skirt, which I feel like was a subliminal messaging to Joey, our tennis pro. There was definitely many things going on.
You could see, here's me at Wimbledon.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because Wimbledon at Wimbledon?
Not Wimbledon. Wimbledon. The one in England on
Is
grass.
it Wembley one?
Wembley? I don't think so.
Okay, never mind.
Sports,
I could have sworn it was. But she sits down with Joey and she's got some moves right away because she right away says, so I'm feeling jealous and I'm shocked.
Yeah.
A professional move.
It's
a professional move right out the gate. You're like, hey, listen, this isn't my typical feeling, but I am feeling a little bit jealous. Question mark is Maria going to let the jealousy take her too far?
Oh, I don't think she's jealous at all.
I feel the same. Well, I feel like she might be a little, like she's getting some feelings
she's
going.
Normal, but she did the same move when they first met. I said I wasn't going to kiss you.
True. God, she's a pro.
God, okay. If I'm dating someone or like I like someone and they kiss me and they say, God, I promised myself I wasn't going to kiss you.
Oh, you're a puddle.
I mean, what an incredible comment, because it's like you just boosted my ego so bad. Like I'm irresistible now.
And then now it's like, oh my God, I never am jealous, but now I was so jealous.
Oh, it puts me, I mean, it just plays with your ego in the best way possible.
And so we hear Joey being like, I really want to get to know Maria. I don't really know. And then he tells her, he's like, I don't really know much about you. Like, I know Canada. What else? And she's like, well, I know you don't know much about me, but like, can I just slip into something a little more comfortable? Because I just need to like, just get comfy. She walks away. And now let me make something very clear, everyone. People are saying this was a move, to come out in kind of a more sensual, slinky outfit. But please note, Maria had a corseted top on, and those things are uncomfortable. And then
Sure.
she took it off and had a little bralette on. It is more comfortable, and we all know it. Okay, so
But it could have, yeah. But
so
it could have. She
was
could have
just
come
getting
out in
comfortable.
sweats. You know what I mean? Like that's no one. If it's comfort you're looking, right? Like there's two ways to do it. There's the let me slip into something more comfortable, movie style, which is let me walk out in lingerie before we have sex. Or there's the hey babe, I'm tired. I'm gonna slip into something more comfortable. Okay. That version is that I'm dropping in my sweats and my Uggs and just coming into, like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm
Two very different
right
energies.
Now, just so you know, tomorrow I'm gonna start doing this on the reg. I'm gonna be like, hey babe, after like I have a glass of wine, I'll be like, hey babe, I'm gonna slip into something a little more comfortable before we finish this conversation, and I'm gonna come out in like a giant blanket.
In one of those hoodies that is a blanket.
Or a onesie.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go, I'm gonna put on that shark onesie that you got for me. That's like a shark
There's
blanket.
no way to get in.
Yeah.
So like there's two ways to let me slip into something more comfortable, and she definitely hit the like other one, and I guess technically if you're wearing less clothes it's less constrictive.
That's what I'm saying.
So
that was my point. That was my point. If she was
comfortable.
wearing a corseted top, we all know if you've ever worn a corseted top, like it is a little tough. Like,
but it is funny because he
like,
kind of did one of these, which means like she probably did take a good 5 minutes to
because
change.
it takes some prepping to get that phenomenally gorge. When she came out in that, I thought, oh my God, blessings on blessings on blessings. This is all I want to see. Okay. This is what I truly want to see. I don't think that this has ever happened before. Maybe it has, but I feel like if it has in the past, there was a little more of like I want to show you how to do something. And then the part of the outfit was sexy or something, but to just be like, I'm going to just go slip on a group date into something more comfortable and come out in just this like very gorgeous set too that like looked very couture. Like it looked expensive.
Yes.
And then she sits down and he is
I mean,
I don't feel like we've seen
you just
Joey.
say it. He's turned on. Let's leave him wanting more. And then, once we get his downstairs, we'll take care of the upstairs. You know what I mean? That's what she was doing. Well played, I will say.
I loved it. I loved every second of it. And, when she then decided to not change back into the white getup
and then walk in and be like, hi.
Struts right in with that little see-through number.
Lauren's, why did you change? She was so pissed already going through hell. She's like, why are you changed? Explain yourself to me.
It was a choice on Maria's part to not change and sit down.
It was.
And I got to tell you something. Normally, I think there's games involved. With Maria just hits me as big personality. Hey, this is my vibe from Maria.
Yeah.
Bitches, we're all in this together. I fucking love all you bitches. Mm-hmm. And we're doing this, and he's going to pick one of us, and well, some of us are going to get upset, but like, this is great, right? That's the energy I get from her. So when she struts in with this number on, I don't feel like there's mind games happening. I feel like she's just kind of like, I feel like the women are going to celebrate how hot I look because I've celebrated them. Because I feel like if someone sexy walked in like that to Maria, that Maria would celebrate them.
I completely agree. This is where I feel like there's people who play the game dirty to win. I'm going to interrupt your date.
Yes.
I'm going to talk shit about you.
Yes.
I'm going to try to create an allegiance against you. I'm going to shame you or, dishonor you and whatever, the ways the dirty play.
Yes.
And then there's just the straight up playing the game by still being a nice person. Because there seems to be this like vibe with people on the show where it's like you're either part of us or you only care about him and you screw us.
Yes.
Versus like, can't you also play the game and also be one of us? And I feel like that's Maria. It's like she's not doing anything to offend anyone. She's not interrupting anybody's date. She's just making as much of a memorable moment as she can with him, but then also being super supportive of the women versus like prioritizing her walking back and the possible them asking a question to make her then think I shouldn't do this. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like she's playing both perfectly.
I completely agree. I think you just put that perfectly. She's doing both. Now you're going to still ruffle some feathers when you do both.
Because there's certain insecure people in the group that only want you to just be their friends.
So that like, it's like,
and to lose.
Or to be like, I can label you a little bit. Yes. Like you're either solo and you're our enemy, or you're part of the group and I can
Exactly.
predict your moves. But Maria's unpredictable. You don't really know
Exactly.
what's going to happen next. And even in these moments where I'm sure there are people who, after watching the episode, the way that Maria then handled the Madina of it all. And by the way, we'll get into that, which by the way, I totally hear where Madina was coming from and also have my feelings in the way that Maria did handle that. But I think the people who are going to have a problem with Maria are just people who just kind of wouldn't really get along with her personality in general because she does have a bigger personality. So I don't think it's going to be those things of like, oh, Maria's doing these terrible villainous things and doing these things wrong. I think it's more just like, oh, I wouldn't get along with you IRL because our personality, we handle things differently and we operate differently. Yeah. That's what I think. And I'm going to stick by that unless something big changes next week and we see a big change. I'm going to stand by my thoughts on Maria. And I think that she is exactly what I wanted to see this season. She is exactly who I wanted this season. And I am thrilled that she is on our screens and I want more. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm feeling a little nervous after the preview last week that Maria might get sent home way earlier than I thought she would. And I'm feeling a little nervous about that.
I hate it.
I hate it so much. I'm going to hate it if she leaves.
Pissed. I'm already pissed.
I'm already mad.
Nothing's even happened yet. I'm pissed.
And I'm so angry. Someone who I wouldn't be, this is so mean. Someone who I wouldn't be terribly upset to see leave, who is kind of having somewhat of a villainous role as well, is Jess.
So
on this date, yes, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so we saw it. She's talking to him about the fact that, her boyfriend cheated on her in a past relationship.
Well, but beforehand, she's saying to the women, she's like, well, I've heard that like my name's gotten brought up a couple times today and it's bringing up some things for me. So then when she's initially telling Joey during this portion that she sits down with Joey and she's like, hey, so I'm having some feelings come up.
Yeah.
I, number one, am having a hard time putting two and two together. I'm like, you're talking about the women saying negative things about you and connecting it with the potential, like maybe infidelity in your past and falling for someone. And then the women saying like, you're having too big of a reaction, but you can't be. I was like, I'm not putting all of this quite together and like how this works. Not trying to negate if anything bad happened in her past relationship. Not trying to dishonor that. No. But this whole like last episode, we're like, sorry, ladies, it is what it is. Yeah. And it puts together what we said last episode. We're like, I think it is going to bother her. Yeah. And the women talking. But now all of a sudden it seemed like, well, Joey didn't just have eyes just for Jess. And I think she was starting to panic a little bit.
I think Jess just knows what she's doing. I personally don't think that she's that bothered by the women talking about her. Okay. I personally think that whatever she went through, sorry that she went through that horrible, cheating or whatever. Yeah. But I still believe that she knows what she's doing because you have Lauren who's talking about her hard time. Yeah. And she goes in and she goes, here's what I went through. Yeah. And then Joey goes, I'm so sorry. And they go, it's okay. Thank you. And then they walk away. Yeah. Yeah. Right? Yeah. She clearly was just in the moment of the grief.
She was struggling.
She was just in the moment of the grief and the struggle. Jess immediately starts crying and then immediately she's just like, you're just so amazing and you're just incredible that you're comforting me like this. And well, I mean, you're just and then starts making out and then walks away.
By the way, he goes in for a hug.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
He goes in for a hug and then she goes in for the kiss.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and then the whole thing just became about them connecting. And she was able to move away from her sad story very quickly into like them. This is kind of where I'm feeling she's kind of the genius of the cast at this point.
Got it.
Because she's really knowing how to play the emotional game of it all. Like,
do you think she's going to stick around for a long time, or do you think she's like in and out pretty quick?
I think she's going to stick around for a while because I think she's really good at this, and I think that she is. I think it's like her and Maria and maybe one or two others can give her like a run for her money when it comes to the connection, but I think she will be able to sustain and know how to play the game right because I could just tell she's watched a lot of the show and knows when to strike and when not to, because I'm seeing her stick around just based on that alone.
Well, we saw previews again, which I don't know if it's going to be for next week, but we saw previews in the very first episode where we see Maria and Jess going toe to toe, Jess versus Maria. And I was very much of the feeling that Maria was going to be around for a long time. Yeah. And that was the feeling I was getting, and that Jess would be like a short and sweet kind of villainous edit. I'm now thinking that if a Jess versus Maria battle goes down, that Jess is going to win. And that Maria will get kicked out of the house.
Yeah.
Because if then we see Maria versus Sydney, and then let's just say he lets go of Sydney, and then it's Maria versus Jess, he'll be like, this is 2 rounds already.
Yeah.
And Jess has always been like sweetheart Jess.
Scared.
And
but that's what I'm saying. I think she knows how to play the game well. I think she knows when to push, when to pull, when to be a part of drama, when to not be a part of drama. Like, I think she's like a real player of the game.
I'm agreeing with you. I think you're right. But I didn't think that was going to be the case. And I'm feeling a little bit like, oh shit, like she knows. Is she coached? We think Jess might be a coached player.
I don't know.
Bachelor clues?
It's screaming yes to me.
She's a pro.
It's screaming yes.
To the point that she ends up getting the group date rose.
Exactly.
Think about this.
She beat out Rachel.
She beat out
Maria.
She beat out Rachel after that wild connection chemistry. Maria with the clothing change. Lauren with the passing of her father.
Yes. Also, by
the way, we see a clip of Joey making out with Kelsey T, who's my sleeper, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, I said this. I'm like, she got an early rose in the first rose ceremony, and she got an early rose now in the second rose ceremony. We see her and Joey for a brief second where he's saying, you're the first one to come and check up on me, and they start making out. We're going to find out more about Kelsey T. But she beat it all out, and she got that first rose. Or that group date rose, excuse me.
Yes.
So we got big time player.
I think she's good. If she doesn't win this thing, she's going to be 100% paradise. She's going to be a part of this thing for a while, because I think she really knows what she's doing.
I don't know if I can picture her. I don't know. Maybe I was gonna say I don't know if we can picture her being the final, but I
don't see it at all. To be honest with you,
but we saw that. I mean, we see the preview for the ending where Joey's sobbing. I could see her being top 2 now. It's starting to become a reality.
He really likes her, and he's like, I really like what I'm seeing. Even though I'm not seeing any chemistry, I'm just seeing her like knowing how to get to him.
Me too.
I'm not seeing actual chemistry. I'm just seeing her know how to play it. So
unless there's a lot of producer involvement who are pushing him to give.
But also, I love Joey, but like. There is no difference. He responds no differently to anyone. It's like literal copy paste.
I'm having a really hard time reading who we was talking about this last time, who his favorites are. The only thing I can read on Joey is who I think he is like all of a sudden like, ooh, va va boom.
Yeah,
clearly,
we saw it
with Maria. And also I feel it with Lexi. I feel like he wants to mac with Lexi when he sees Lexi. That's the other one that I'm feeling.
Wait, well, Lexi's the art one?
The art one.
Okay, real quick, hilarious bit.
I know.
He didn't laugh at all. So that was another thing that pissed me off, because I'm like, dude, that was a really funny bit.
Are you coming for Joey?
No, I love Joey.
He's
but
calm, cool and collected.
I love Joey, but I'm also like, hey man, you gotta give us something. Any inclination that you like or dislike someone.
During the paintball, not paintball, he was screaming. I noticed this. He was like, go, Edwina!
Yeah,
he was screaming.
Okay, so
I was like, okay,
there's a
we
little
got
emotion
it there.
But when it comes to how you feel about someone, it is, you never know.
When Lexi did the whole painting spoof, which was hilarious, when she turned it around and it was clearly a joke.
Hilarious.
So funny. When
he just goes,
he goes, oh. I thought for a second
did he not get it?
That he was like, oh shit, she's a terrible artist and she's trying to sell it. I'm not processing how this is fine, high art.
Right. Like maybe I'm just not an art guy, so I don't know. But like, I just thought it was so funny. I actually thought it might have been a joke halfway through. When she was explaining
really?
it,
I didn't catch on.
I was like, you know, what'd be really funny right now is if after she's selling this really well, and then she just turns around and it's dog shit, and then boom, it was, and I was like, that is so funny. I would have died, and he just goes, oh, crazy, and it was just like, are you serious? Like that was a great bit.
I think you're coming for Joey, and the people are going to come for you if you come for Joey.
I'm not anti-Joey.
I want to prepare yourself. It's like it's almost like at this point right now in Bachelor Nation, the world, because Joey is such a green flag. You coming for Joey is almost like you like coming for Taylor Swift right now. Like it is a massive mistake.
I don't think there's any
you
red
don't want to do that.
But what's a beige flag? A beige flag is that he doesn't show enough emotion. That's my beige flag for him.
Okay.
Where I'm like, give me something. Whether laugh at the joke. Be mad if you don't like me.
Furrow your brow.
Just give me something to know whether you like me, you don't like me. But everyone gets the same treatment. So you never know where he's at.
Everyone beautifully.
Now, I will say that creates for a really interesting, like, you have no idea what's coming.
So I'm saying I think everyone's going to be jealous
like
of everyone because everyone thinks he's in love with them.
No clue. Yeah. Okay.
And he comforts everyone beautifully.
Yeah.
Okay, so next we have. Okay, I'm just realizing that we only just finished the first group date.
Yeah. Let's speed this thing up.
One-on-one, the second group date, and then the Madina Maria. Okay, everybody, sorry, we're gonna go a little quicker through the rest of this. All right, let's just say this: Daisy got the first one-on-one date. I think I can speak for all of Bachelor Nation in America when I say I also saw all of the posts and tweets and memes about all of this. Everyone loves Daisy.
Yeah, I mean, what's there not to like? It's kind of like...
Everyone loves Daisy. Everyone loves Joey and Daisy together. Daisy just seems like, again, another individual who, when she got the one-on-one date card and comes then down the stairs in her dress, all the girls are cheering for her.
Sure.
Which it's another moment, like a Rachel moment. It goes to show that she is very beloved. She's loved in the house.
Yes. Some people are just made of shortbread and fairy dust. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she's just one of those. It's just like...
She's very... Whenever I say this, I just think of Maddie Pruitt. So it's rough to say, but she is so genuine.
Yeah.
And she just is very, she's such a transparent genuineness and goodness to who she is. I feel like you can read her and just see goodness written all over her.
100%.
Pure heart and intent.
Been through so much and yet is the most positive, sweetest person in the house. And you're like, okay, yeah, forget it. Some people are just made different, man. Some people are just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, she's incredible. And then also, so we had them take, I was like, oh my gosh, when we went from... I was happy that they gave her the one-on-one because she had expressed before that the cocktail party night one, because of her cochlear implant, that it was a little bit like it was chaos and it was a little bit difficult. So I was glad that they gave her the one-on-one to be able to share with Joey about this. Of course, then they throw the helicopter and then a full festival.
The noisiest things ever. But what was so amazing to me about Daisy is that Daisy stuck to her boundaries. Yeah.
I felt like it was almost like they were pushing with the helicopter and then the festival for her to just share it right away. And she didn't. Which I thought just was very telling of like how she was sticking to her boundaries. She's like, she's not ready to say it yet. And it felt like they were pushing. All right, it's feeling the stress. So maybe bring it up in this scenario. And she wouldn't. And she waited and she was shared a little bit about her nonprofit, but she didn't continue with the conversation with Joey and waited until the evening portion. And then also I was so glad that the show, just for the representation, like the hearing loss representation, that in that conversation, they aired Daisy not just sharing everything she's gone through with Lyme disease and then her hearing loss, but then also explaining to him about her cochlear implant, because I had questions as an audience member. I was like, how does this work? And all these things. Either. And then because they showed it and aired it, I thought that was amazing for the representation piece, that it was like, we got to have the conversation about kind of how it works, the sound of the voice and all these things. I thought that was incredible. And then Joey, his response to it, the moment, it almost like made me start crying when Daisy, after he responded to it the way he did, because like she had said, she hadn't ever gone out on a date with her cochlear implant yet with someone who didn't know her beforehand. She literally looked off camera. Did you notice this? Right after he responded, she looked off camera to like the producers or the camera people with a big smile and goes, is he even real?
Right.
And that moment was
so
like,
sweet.
It was so beautiful, because it's like you see this like breaking of the fourth wall of her being like looking up to the producers and not making it a show for this moment. It's like, no, this is a real life moment where you're like,
she pulled a Jim Halpert.
She looked directly into the camera. Is he even real? But it was this moment of, I'm breaking down the fourth wall right now, and I'm going to say, excuse me, are you all seeing this? He's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So everyone felt those two together, and he was so encouraging and asking questions, and she was, so gracious to be like the way that she was presenting everything, and like, hey, do you want to see it? And like, it was just, they were beautiful together. They have the exact same energy we said in the first episode.
That was my only fear.
Same person.
My only fear was just like, is it too the same? You know,
too much of the same energy.
Like, do they need opposites attract type stuff? You know,
the
chill person with the wild person, the calm, cool, collected with the, you know, a little more unabashed, outspoken vibe. You know, do we need that? Some people don't. A lot of people do. Yeah. You know, a lot of people need the balance in the house.
Yeah, because they both are so
low-key. Laid back. That it's kind of like, do either of them need a little bit more of a pop in the, you know, emotional
but you wonder this
spectrum there.
We'll say like the stereotypical opposites attract thing. It happens, but is it healthy? That is like forever question that you wonder like long term. You're kind of like, well, but when you have two people who are just like seem kind and transparent and low key, like what a beautiful, peaceful space. When life gets chaotic, then you have your partner that you both are in that same energy. I don't know. There's something to be said about that.
There's moments when that would be absolutely the best. Mm-hmm. But the question is like, is that going to work for you? I don't know. It might be perfect. It might be exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Or it could be, man, I like you so much, but I need a little something more. I don't know. I'm just throwing it. I'm just going, we could look at this and go, oh, aren't they beautiful and perfect together? Or is there a little bit of like, we need a little bit of like.
I hear you. I wondered that too. Yeah. I've wondered that too. Like after watching, it's kind of like, okay, is this, I mean, I definitely feel like, again, America.
Calm.
America was like, we love them together. And as a viewer, we love them together. But is there going to be the opposites enough, or is it just too similar?
That's what I'm curious
see. I
about.
will tell you this, the two of them together, their energy is literally.
It's a warm bath. It's a meditation app.
I'm literally, when their energy together is me soaking into my 17th bath of the day.
Yeah.
Epsom salts, beautiful sound bath music on in the background. Like that is their energy.
It makes you just wonder what a fight looks like between them. You know what I mean? Like what's even possible?
That hurt my feelings. Yeah. Oh, babe.
I was thinking about
that. Hurt my feelings. So sorry.
Aren't we grateful that we have feelings? And you're like, what?
You know, aren't we grateful for each other? I mean,
exactly.
So that was then the one-on-one, and then we had the second group date. Which the second group date we were blessed with the appearance of Demi and Jubilee from our past seasons. I was so happy to see them as we had a kind of,
what was it?
Bachelor
paint game, but no one gets out.
But it started as a boot camp.
Oh yeah, so they had to work out before.
You know my response to this date.
Yeah, you wouldn't have loved this one.
When the producers would have said, "Hey, everybody,
right?
Put on your workout gear.
Yeah.
Put on your stretchy athletic gear."
Yeah.
I would have been like, "No." I would have said,
Joey,
no.
Good luck on your relationship.
No, I would have just put on whatever I was planning on wearing.
Yeah.
I would have put on the expensive thing that I couldn't afford that I purchased. Right. And I would have been wearing that. I've been like, we'll figure this out when we get there. Because the second that those women arrive, they're like, drop and give us 20. And I'm like, there's no way I could give you 20 push-ups right now. I've got maybe two in me. 20? Right now, drop and give you 20 push-ups? I couldn't. I passed out.
I was very
confused. And that's just the start. That was just the warm-up.
It was a very, but again, it's kind of generally they have a theme. Like even it's football and we're fighting, whoever wins the game. This was like, okay, we're going to put you through like a dusty CrossFit workout. Then you're going to go play a paint game that makes no sense. Like you throw paint at each other.
I thought it was paintball, and
I was hoping for that because I was like, oh, at least it makes sense. You're gonna,
I was like, paintball.
It's intense.
This is so intense. I'm like, this is gonna be so extreme.
It ends up being you just throw paint at each other, and that's it. And you just run and grab a heart,
and
then
you're not
go the other
disqualified
side.
if you get paint on you.
So two people were getting hit with paint, and they were just kept going. I'm like, what is this, like a food fight?
The rules felt very loose.
Very loose. I felt like this whole thing was thrown together 5 minutes before they're like, oh shoot, we got to put a game together. What do we have? Grab some paint, put it in a thing.
Well, it's because they had Michael Bolton. The budget
went down. So I was very confused. This whole group date felt very strange.
I will say I did feel some disappointment because I just love Demi and Jubilee, and I was really hoping that we were gonna, get a lot of ITMs from them. I was hoping that when they set everyone back, that Demi and Jubilee were going to go back to the mansion when Joey was on his one-on-one moment with Edwina and like make them boot camp in the mansion, or do what Demi has done in the past and done like the lie detector type test and start to like get to the bottom of who's here for the right reasons. I'm like, please, Bachelor franchise, you have Demi and Jubilee. Please let us see them right now. Like, I want more. We love them. They're television gold. Give them to us, please.
Yeah, it was so random. But, either way.
Either way, I would have failed miserably is the point.
Right. It was highly intense, and they were running with everything they had.
Edwina left it all out.
Left it all out there.
Left it all out on the field, on the stage. She gave it. And I have to tell you, Joey, I've noted, responds highly to people who
go all in.
Like, he was very much like, oh my gosh, like he was very moved by Evalin throwing her body across the table. He was very moved by Edwina giving it her all.
I felt like there was a missed opportunity though. Generally, we have one of the contestants that doesn't play by the rules and does something to interact with the lead.
Yeah.
Fake an injury.
True.
Go over and start hitting on him mid-game.
True. Flash him.
Try to bring him into the game.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody
Why does no one ever flash?
That's
anyway,
true.
Sorry, keep going.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, no one did the classic, like, I'm going to not play by the rules, piss all the other girls off, and go make out with them right now with all the paint all over me. Like, if I would have been one of them, I would have, like, been covered in paint, jumped on him, made out with him, covered him with paint because of me, and then kind of claimed him as my own. Everyone would have hated me for it. But then it would have been, everyone just played the game. Generally, there's always someone who's like very focused on the game.
That's true.
And then someone who's focused on the lead, and the person who's obsessed with the game gets not even a look.
Yeah, and they're devastated
and
because they
like,
left it all out.
I won. And then like the person who kind of cheated and then like made out with them, they get it.
Yes.
So this is like the first time we ever seen like actually victory.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I think Joey responds. He responds to that. Maybe as an athlete, he's like, I appreciate someone really giving it their all. Like I feel like he responds to this. I'm just saying, take note of this as this show continues. I think he responds well to this. But what was devastating is they had a team, blue team versus pink team, and they say at the beginning, hey, whichever team wins gets to have extra time with Joey. Well, turns out the blue team wins. And then they find out actually only one of you is going to have extra time with Joey, which is just an absolute gut punch. So they end up finding out that Edwina is given it, which, absolutely earned and deserved.
She went hard.
She went so hard.
The Bella she just ran as fast as she could.
Yeah, and by the way, everyone was looking like, are there rules? Like, and Edwina was like, no, there's no rules. I'm just going to do it. And she did it. And she did it. But then Joey and Edwina had some one-on-one time, and she then was talking to him about having a hard time opening up and being vulnerable, and about her past as her parents. She said her family, they're from Liberia, and how much her parents have sacrificed, and then the pressure that she feels as the oldest daughter, I believe. Yeah. And I mean, you felt that pressure, and she started crying, and she was so open and vulnerable with him. He wiped the tear, and they connected. And I have to say, Edwina is so stinking cute. Like, I cannot handle it. When she smiles, she does the nose scrunch. Yeah. And I
Smiles with the whole face
just want to be like, oh, like she's
very cute.
So cute.
Yeah.
Like, and she has such Edwina, get a girl who can do both. Get you a woman who can do both. Edwina left it all out on the field, all out on the stage, and then she goes in this vulnerable cries and has this moment with Joey. She can do both, and I think Joey's going to respond to that.
I think so. I feel bad for her though. There was I don't know, when she was talking about the pressure and the like I can't fail and stuff, that was a little intense. I was like, oh man, like you could see her having an incredible attitude, but also that pressure she mentioned. Yeah. I could see it.
Well, and then on top of that, the way that the response was when she got the card, when you couple that together in the house, everyone was like tight, and she was going, I don't feel bad. She was having to talk herself through that.
You're right. She kind of goes, well, I'm not going to be sad.
she was having to talk herself through
Yeah.
it because which then connected to me with like the pressure of being like the oldest and having that. And it was a little bit like talking herself through like, no, I'm not going to let these other people make me feel bad that I was
won.
chosen and I won. And this is who he wants. He wants to spend time with me and don't make me feel bad. 100%.
Which was kind of a weird, I wasn't expecting her to have to do that. I was expecting her. She seemed to be nice. So that it seemed like everyone would have been like, oh, like we're disappointed, but have fun. She clearly had to go like, well, I'm happy. And it was like, whoa, kind of weird. I was kind of, there was a tension there.
Well, I think probably everyone was tired after the whole thing and they assumed that they were going to have that time.
Sure. Oh, that's true. That's true.
And then they didn't get it.
Everybody's pissed,
and it was tight, but I felt for her.
Yeah, I was like, that's not her fault that she kicked ass.
I was like, everybody just...
Actually, it is, but in a good way.
I was like, just turn it on for her and just like be supportive for this moment, like you have been with everybody else.
You have to, man. You have to, because then you're gonna start being the bitter person on the show. Mm-hmm. Whenever you see someone go, "Oh, I'm excited for you," they seem to kind of float above everyone else, and I think that's important.
100%. But anywho, I could see Edwina going far. Mm-hmm. I feel like like I said, I feel like Joey really values someone putting it all out there for him. And he also very much values the tears and he values the vulnerability. Mm-hmm. And she gave that to him. And then on top of that, like I said, she's absolutely so cute and just that big smile. And she's just, I could see Joey really falling for her.
Agreed. Completely agree.
Okay. Then we have the Madina versus Maria versus Sydney of it all. And that kind of went from the evening after Edwina got the date card into then the next day. So basically, Madina says in front of the group that she's on edge and feeling like it's a little different for her because she's the oldest in the group at 31.
Yeah.
And that it feels a little different and it feels a little tense for her. And then as soon as she said that, by the way, she goes, I wish I wouldn't have said that.
That which was interesting because I was thinking that as she was talking.
Yeah.
I thought, too vulnerable.
I know. I was like
these
she's going to get used against you.
These are not your friends. Right? These are not your friends. Do not be vulnerable to any of them. I told her to
get used against you, Madina.
And the second she said it, I thought, oh boy. She's like, I shouldn't have said that. I was like, yeah, you vomited a little bit. And you didn't realize that these are not your friends. But aside from that.
Yes.
Maria goes outside and is talking to, do you remember who she's talking to?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it's from someone we see the back of their head and she's getting down on her knees and talking to them. And off in the other corner is Sydney and a few other people. And we hear...
And Maria is not great with the volume control. So she's a little bit of like, I'm always here. You know what I mean? Like no matter what. Like you can't tell a secret like this or a hushed opinion this. So she's always kind of like, Maria. I don't like... She literally said, listen, I get it. Anytime you're kind of talking about someone,
it's going to feel...
It's generally like a dangerous game to play.
It's going to feel gossipy.
It's going to feel gossipy.
Yeah.
But she was saying, hey, I'm about the same age. We're about the same age. I don't understand what this whole, like, we need, like, Madina's tripping out about this age thing. Because it's like, there's a couple of us in this age range and I don't know what the big deal is, blah, 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 blah. Kind of like... You know, I'm trying to be like super pragmatic here and go, okay, you could say, I don't like the fact that you were kind of I was having a hard time about this concept. Maybe you don't, but I do.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's a point that could be made. You know what I mean? Like if we want to dissect it, okay, I could see that like I don't struggle with the age thing. You do. Okay, two different strokes. That's a conversation. But not a huge shit talk, not a big deal. What was really problematic to me was how then you have the person who's not involved at all.
Sydney.
Taking it on Sydney.
Yeah.
Taking it on as her own.
Yeah.
Because then we go to the Madina moment.
Yes.
When let's work like kind of around because I want to get back to Sydney.
Okay.
Because we go... For me, Sydney brings the news to Madina. We don't see it, but we hear it.
Yes, there was a lot of missing pieces
exactly.
in this drama,
Madina
by the way.
hears, then people are talking about how Madina is having an issue with... But again, it's all because you haven't heard it from the source.
Yes.
Madina, in my mind, has every right to be slightly tweaked, like she kind of
100%.
was. Hey,
And also,
I'm
by the
hearing
way-
rumors this person's talking shit about me.
Also, by the way, when she's now prepping for this like date moment with Joey, she's like, there's a reason why, and I'm going to explain why this really affects me. We never find out what the reason is, and I'd love to know, but there is another reason also that she was saying that the age thing is something that is troublesome to her, or it's on her heart and her mind. So anyways, by the way, continue.
No, so then they have a quick talk, and Madina's like, I don't mean, I just kind of have my feelings about it. We'll talk later, blah, blah. And I'm like, that to me makes all the sense in the world. Okay. Because Madina goes, I hear some rumors you're talking shit, because that's how it's presented to me. I'm cool, but I'm also like, why are you talking shit? Things need to be cleared up, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
My issue is this. If Maria was saying like, that ugly piece of trash needs to go, like some serious shit, and Sydney hears it.
Yes.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
But a slight,
like she's here for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, for the wrong
even.
reasons, or I hate her,
manipulative.
or
Yeah. Why would he want to be
saying,
with
well, I'm the same age too. I don't know why she's tripping about it. That's the shit talk. And then Sydney takes it upon herself to be the Jesus Christ savior of
she's
like
the carrier pigeon. She was telling everybody.
And I'll be honest with you, hated this. Like it bugged me so bad, because I'm just like, you represent the person who ruins people's entire
runs on this.
Well, no, like they like, that's the girl in high school, that's the guy in high school who ruins people's reputations and weren't even there. Those are the people that like goes, I heard that they talked to this person about this, and then they created an entire rumor, and then everyone's like, wait, they weren't even there. And then they're like, well, I heard anyway. And it's like, you start realizing that like it's about them, and you're like, wait a second, this is between these two people. You weren't even, it wasn't even like Maria came up to you and said it, which would have given you a little bit of reason to say something.
Unless that was taken out, what we saw is when Maria was talking to someone, and Sydney, we literally hear Maria, you hear her loud in the background go, I think it's hot.
Exactly.
Like she was saying nice things about like thinking. And when we see Maria talk about it later, she's like, I like Madina. I think Madina's smoking hot. My whole point in this is that she's absolutely gorgeous. And why would Joey ever even, like, that's not going to be a factor at all just because you're a few years older than him. Like from my perspective. And that was the interesting thing to me about this whole conversation was I was like, listen, what Madina was saying is so valid, especially like, unfortunately in this society, and in the society that is the Bachelor, the older or the oldest person is always like, oh, well, you're the oldest. And there's like this weird age cap on it. We hear them talk about it in the Golden Bachelor, where it's like you feel like people aren't treating you the same and ignore you. And unfortunately, it's like that on the show, that even a woman who's 31, which is young, is feeling that. Such a valid feeling, right? And she was struggling. And again, then who knows too what her conversation with Joey was about why, on top of all of this, I felt like Maria almost, and I don't want to speak for Maria, but I almost felt like Maria, the way that Maria handled it, was almost her protecting herself. Like when Madina said, I'm nervous about being older, that maybe that Maria felt that a little bit because Maria is one of the oldest ones as well, where it was like, whoa. I'm old too. Like, let's not talk about ourselves like that. Like, no, we're hot. We're amazing.
Exactly.
It's a benefit that we're old. It's a benefit. It's a good thing. And that was almost, I felt like Maria's way of protecting herself too.
Sure.
Of like, you know, because of the bullshit that society says that the old as a woman ages they're less valuable, which is trash. But because of that, I felt like that's how Maria was protecting herself. I felt like Madina, so valid in how
100%.
she felt.
Because she's also just dealing with rumors. She hasn't even talked to her
right,
about it.
And I also feel like her being annoyed with Maria is super valid. Yeah. And I also feel like the way then that Maria came in and approached Madina, love you, Maria. If I was Maria's friend, I would have been like, we got to dial it back.
2 notes for Maria.
We got to dial it back.
If you're going to talk about someone, don't say it so loud. And also, when you're going to talk to someone about an issue, mellow the energy a little bit, because some people are easily triggered with high energy. Yeah. So the way you came at Madina, the way you spoke with Sydney when that moment went down, big energy. Big energy. So just lower
Which
it to the people.
Love,
I love it, but just if you're not looking for confrontation.
Because Maria came to Madina hot.
Hot.
Because she was feeling it, and she was like
frustrated. Like, how could someone put me against you in this situation. I love you. What the hell?
Instead of verbalizing it like, oh, Madina, like, I feel you. I'm so sorry if you felt that way. Like, I know we're the older ones in the house, but like, I just meant it in a way that like, you're so gorgeous. And kind of what she said then to all the other women.
Yes.
But instead she came at it like, I'm just like, why do you have a problem that we're old? That's on you. And a little bit. And then Madina was like, can you please go away? I'm trying to talk to Joey about this. I don't need your energy. So Maria didn't do it. But Maria didn't do herself any favors by the way that she then approached Madina for the sake of Madina.
It made her look confrontational.
And I'm sure Madina didn't love it. Understandably so.
Here's one thing I will say about Sydney, though.
Yeah.
Sydney, if this was a play to get rid of Maria, I commend you. So if
100%.
this was just purely, I know this is a snake move in order to get rid of Maria, I think well played. If you were just trying to be kind of sneaky with it and get her out of there, this is actually a game. It's a TV show. I completely. Now, if you're like, no, this is how I move in life, I really recommend you not doing that, because people's whole like friendships and things can implode with that type of like, you weren't even there for the conversation. You heard 3 words out of context. You go out of your way to talk shit on that person to the person, then provide no context, and then never go back to the person. Like, you should have walked at least over to Maria and been like, what are you guys talking about? Because it seemed like you were talking shit.
But I'm going to stand by Maria in this situation where, again, you see her numerous times be like, I love Madina. I didn't mean it in that way. I don't feel any anger towards Madina for being frustrated with me. And if she took it that way, I'm really sorry. When she even sat down then with the group and said, who's talking shit? Which I love. Who's talking shit about me to Madina? And then Sydney said it was me. And then Maria said something where she kind of like was like, well, she shouldn't care about being the oldest. And then Sydney said, you're invalidating her feelings, which is true.
Sure.
Maria's response is, no, you're right. I am. I guess what I'm saying is I think she's so hot and beautiful. And so to me, when I look at the whole Maria thing, I go, I think it's 2 people who are feeling on edge and protecting themselves in 2 different ways. And they just maybe don't get each other. I feel like Maria and Madina are just really different, and they're not going to speak the same like energy and love languages. And they're going to probably they're just not going to be besties. But I feel like now, because Sydney came in and lit that fire, and it's like, well, I don't know, Maria. And then we see the previews where, you know, Sydney is like having a huge problem with Maria, and it looks like it's going to be a full
and Maria said something
showdown.
She's like, I've been there, like, so kind to everyone. I've been so supportive and helping people along this way the whole time. Like, what makes you think I'm talking shit? You know what I mean? So there's a little bit of, for me. And
she has been.
Absolutely.
That's
and there's a little bit like Sydney maybe not getting doesn't like the attention Maria's getting. I don't know what's going on. Or Sydney's just maybe kind of one of those people that just dabbles and deals in other people's drama.
I don't like it. Because again,
it has nothing to do with Maria and Madina have nothing to do with Sydney.
Right. And listen,
and Sydney
I understand.
Wasn't even there.
But I understand. Well, the thing is, she heard some pieces.
She doesn't even know.
What I'm saying is, I get being,
Walk down to Maria and be like, what'd you say?
But I get being a good friend and being protective of somebody. And I get her being protective of Madina and being like, Madina, I heard this. Da, 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 da. Even though I don't feel like that's a great call, I think you go to the source first and say, what exactly did you say? Yeah. And then I'm going to protect my friend. Where I then don't buy it and you lose me is watching Sydney go to other people in the house.
Yes, that's another thing too. It's one thing if you just go to Madina.
No, she wasn't. She was delivering in the news to everybody.
A bunch of people starting shit. And then she's like, well, and then you realize, she goes, well, everyone knows Maria's annoying. There it is. You're just using this as a way to ruin someone's reputation.
Yep.
So it has nothing to do with Madina. You don't care about Madina that much, or else you wouldn't be telling everyone. If you cared about Madina that much, you'd actually keep it secret, because you'd be like, I don't want everyone
to make it a big thing.
To make her feel more than aware of her age.
Yes.
You then used it as a social ladder climbing for you.
I don't like it.
Not a huge fan
I don't like
of that.
it. Well, okay, so here's the thing, though.
Next week looks like it's going to blow.
Well, so then we get to the rose ceremony. Obviously, we have the Lauren moment and the exit.
Yeah.
And then we have the rose ceremony. Here's the deal, everybody. So starting out, we have Jess, Daisy, and Edwina who have roses.
Yeah.
First rose goes to Lexi, then Kelsey A, Kelsey T, Jen, Evalin, Autumn, Madina, Leia, Caitlin, Krissa, Maria, Star, Allison, and the final rose goes to Sydney. So then we're going to have this still Madina, Maria situation. I'm wondering if Madina's going to come in at all at any point and or if this is going to become then nothing about just only between Maria.
Madina seems really chill. I
She
actually
does.
like her. Madina
I like
seems kind of
Madina
like,
a
I don't know why
lot.
you're even talking shit. I don't know what's going on. I'm not really interested in this.
I thought
It's
Madina
Sydney.
handled it so beautifully because, like I said, Maria did come a little bit at
Yeah.
her shot out of a cannon, and I felt like Madina was like boundaries.
Madina
I'm gonna
seems
talk.
so chill.
She seems awesome, and like Maria said, she likes her.
Yes.
Now Madina might not love Maria now,
But
which
again,
we
it's
understand.
soiled, you know.
This is the issue. Taylor is one of the people who went home, and Taylor was
Maria.
Maria's ally.
Yeah, not good.
And now she's gone.
Yeah, not
so
good.
now I feel like we might see Maria spiral a bit and everyone go in against Maria and be like, we're going to take Maria out in this because we see
Yeah.
her as a power player.
Yeah.
That's what I
Scary.
think. So we see Marlena go home, Taylor and Erica, which I was shocked. I thought Erica was going to be, we were going to see Erica go far.
And Lauren went home,
And
who was
Lauren.
also comforted a lot by Maria. So
that's
all
true,
of Maria's
too.
possible allies are leaving, and now
Are
we're
gone.
left with, we'll see.
Well, next week it's going to be
I
wild.
have anxiety.
We see that Askin is back. Askin is coming back for a group date, so you
Yes,
know
I'm
we're happy
so
about
excited
that.
to see
so
our
happy. I've missed
prized
April,
ladies.
Susan, Kathy, and Nancy.
Yes.
I just absolutely miss them. It's going to be Sydney versus Maria. Sydney says, you've created such a hostile environment, calling Maria a mean girl, and is like, anybody want to go with me?
Oh my!
Oh, no.
Anyone want to come with me? Is the most like
I can't.
fake. Oh, I hate to say it, but it's just, she drives me nuts.
I know
with
you
that,
couldn't
dude.
handle it. Evan couldn't handle
Anyone,
it.
you're scaring me, and then like leaves and goes. Anyone want to come? Like that is so like you're just trying to ruin someone because you don't like them.
I'm
It's
just
like
saying, Sydney,
mean
be
girl
careful.
energy, dude.
I'm just saying, Sydney, be careful. Maria, this is the sprinkle empire. Like you can say goodbye to sprinkles for the rest
Yeah,
of your
you'll
life.
never eat another sprinkle for the rest of your life.
Anywho, that is that.
That is that. I'm in, dude.
I'm so in.
This is a great season
I am
already.
so in. I'm so locked. Like I'm literally like on edge for next week. There's so much drama already, and
Yeah.
we're only 2 weeks in.
Agreed.
And I feel like we're also gonna have some more like what's the word? Like audience reaction. I feel like we're gonna start seeing people be very much like I
visceral feelings.
love Maria. I can't stand Maria. I
Yeah.
love Sydney. I can't stand Sydney. Like very much like visceral. Like I'm Team Maria. I'm Team Sydney. Like energy. Which I
Yeah.
feel like it's been a minute since we've seen people have like strong
Yeah.
opinions about certain
A lot of
cast
good
members.
people in the past, like a lot of like just everyone's nice. And now it's like we're getting some kind of like
Well, and listen, I'm
decisions.
sure they all are lovely behind the
Of course.
scenes, but at least for what we're getting, I've missed a little bit of like, I
Tension.
got some strong opinions about how certain things are being
Yeah.
played.
Agreed.
Sydney, I'm sure you're lovely and you're protecting your friend, but
We're just talking about how you're
but I
handling
gotta be
situations,
honest.
not you as a person.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It bothers me.
Yeah, it bothers me too. It
Leave
triggers me.
Leave Maria.
I'm thinking about high school and I'm like, I remember that person was talking about me and I didn't know it. And then they took my thing out of context and they're like, oh, it gives me anxiety.
Well, join us with our anxiety next
Yes.
week. We'll see you all on Wednesday for recap of the third
third
episode,
week.
and then also we'll have an episode on Friday. But also, please listen to our Dungeons and Dragons episode.
Please, it's so good.
And let us know how you feel about it, and if you want us to keep doing it, because we would love to.
Because soon this will just be Dungeons and Dragons. We love you all.
We love you all.
See you next week.
Well, bye.